friends, welcome into the Orange Crush podcast. Cody Roark, Rachel Vigil, the Broncos finally back, a snowy day, Wednesday. Cody, you were out there for practice. Luckily, they went inside, but how long did you have to wait before you were able to go inside?
I would say luckily in this situation, it wasn't as long as I think as what we experienced last year. Like there were some times last year where, walking from where we have to go to get to practice to the sidewalk, like the sidewalk was never shoveled and you stepped in it and then there's like an ice puddle. And then so your shoe fills up with ice water, your toes are freezing. And we stood out there for like 20 minutes last year before we got to go indoors to where it was a little bit warmer.
Yeah.
It was like 5 minutes that we were outside. It wasn't bad at all, honestly. So
Okay.
maybe they're like, yeah, we're winning. We can't put these guys in this situation. They took care of us, so it was nice.
Nice. I know. I was so happy. I showed up for the press conferences and then for locker room availability. So being able to go inside and have Sean in there, I was like, hallelujah. I literally, Cody, I wore leggings underneath my pants because I wasn't sure if I was going to have to stand outside at all. So I came
Ooh,
prepared, but I was very happy that I didn't actually have to.
rather be over prepared than under prepared. I'll always say that. How was your drive home? Because I had to go pick my wife up. Because my wife, she's one of those. She's hilarious in the sense that she doesn't believe in getting gas. She doesn't like to get gas, and she
Yeah.
ran out of gas. So I had to go in the morning yesterday while it was snowing. I had to get gas for her because it was on empty, and I had to drive her to work because she's not used to driving in these situations. The drive to go pick her up after practice on C470 was awful. The roads were so bad and so slick.
I know. So usually it takes me like 25 minutes to get from my house to the Broncos facility. It took me a solid 70 minutes to get home.
Oh,
Yep.
miserable.
Yeah, so not ideal, but we made it home safely. That's all that matter. I saw three accidents, one person who literally spun out right in front of me. And so I was like, you know what? Just get home safely. That's all that matters. But I think all the time, like I even saw Elisa, the Broncos reporter. She was like, shout out to all the people that drive in the snow and shout out to my friends that pick me up. But I think of like the Broncos players who aren't used to it, like having to leave the facility and all of a sudden you're like, what the heck is going on here?
Yeah, I mean, it was crazy. It was freezing, and look, we have to get a little extra steps in, which is nice. I feel like in the cold, just like, all right, I
Do
don't
you
want to
like
go.
winter?
I hate it. I hate
Okay,
it
me
because
too.
I have barometric pressure. I mean, obviously, I torn my ACL twice, so every time it
Yeah.
gets cold and it starts snowing, it kills me. Like my knee is just, it's miserable. No amount of icy hot or whatever you want to throw onto it is going to help in that situation.
No, fair. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of winter. I love when it's snowing and I can stay in my house, but the second I have to leave, I'm like, nope. Where's fall? Where's summer? Take me back to it. So trying to enjoy it. I know the Broncos will enjoy being in a dome on Sunday. That's for sure as they head to Vegas. How are you feeling about this game? Because again, we go back to Thursday night. It's not like they absolutely dominated them, and I feel like a lot of people are expecting that. I don't think that is the identity of this football team. I don't think they're going to dominate anybody at this point.
I don't know. I think that at any point in time they could dominate somebody. I mean, they dominated the Cowboys. I just think that the NFL this year is so close. And I was talking to guys in the locker room yesterday primarily about just being in close games. And I had a great conversation with JL Skinner, and he said, look, like we'd love to go dominate other teams. And,
Yeah.
and there's going to be times where we do. He said, but we know we're going to get everybody's best game. And we have to figure out, and we haven't hit our stride yet, which if they think that they haven't hit their stride yet, I mean, that makes me excited for if and when they do. The difference, I feel like, when you go back to that Thursday night game compared to this week, they have a full week of practice where they're actually, they're watching Raiders tape. They're going through and they're going through walkthroughs. They're going through full speed, like reads of what they're going to see on the field. Whereas last time that they played, and when you're preparing for Thursday night football, what was it? They only had one day of practice, and they didn't have full speed installments. So I feel better about it coming into this week. And the fact that the Chargers ran the ball really well against them last week, it gives me some optimism after hearing what, Sean Payton said about RJ Harvey on Wednesday. It gives me some optimism. This could be one of those games. But once again, you can't overlook anybody in the NFL.
No, never. We never will either with this team. I'm actually curious too. We haven't talked about it. What's your thoughts on the Patriots? Because watching them on Monday night, I'm a little nervous. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm a little stressed.
I would say, like, I think New England's a good team. I think that they're a good team. They deserve to be where they're at right now. I
Are
also
they a
think
better
that
team than the
Denver,
Broncos?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, here's the thing with that. Like, you know, the Giants team that the Patriots faced isn't the same Giants team that the Broncos faced. You know, when they had a healthy Cam Scattaboo and they had more healthier players on the defensive side of the ball. Look, New England, they execute at a very high rate. Drake May is operating that offense at a very high rate. And it's like, it seems like in today's world, especially in social media, at least, it's like, the Broncos are 10-2, the Patriots are 11-2. Broncos fans must tear down the Patriots. Patriots fans must tear down the like. No, like why can't football fans just appreciate? Hey, Bo Nix and Drake May, they're good quarterbacks. They are good second-year quarterbacks. They're all winning games at this point. I also do think that New England has played, their schedule hasn't been as tough as Denver's, but you know what? That's not their fault. They got to play who's scheduled up on their slate of opponents, and Denver's got to do the same exact thing. And both teams are taking care of business right now. I think that New England, I don't know if they've been pressured yet. Like if they and the Broncos faced off, Rachel,
Mhm.
I would be very curious to see how that game goes because I don't think that the Patriots would look as dominant as certainly they have been through the first, 11, 12 weeks of their season. They're on a bye this week. They only have 4 games remaining.
Yeah.
My math didn't even math right there in totality when we talk about it, but you know what I mean.
I got you. I got you. Okay, so I'm looking at their schedule. They lost to the Raiders week 1. Just kind of funny. I'm not gonna lie. They beat the Dolphins. They lost to the Steelers. So there are 2 losses right there. They beat the Panthers, not a good team. They beat the Bills. I feel like the Bills
Up
are
and down.
shaky, totally. The Saints they beat, the Titans they beat, the Browns they beat, the Falcons they beat, the Bucks they beat, the Jets they beat, the Bengals and the Giants. So you're right, their schedule's been relatively easy.
I'd say the Bucks game for me, that was an impressive one for them. Like
Yeah.
I'll give them credit. Them going on the road and beating Tampa Bay, it's great. Bo Nix did that last year, which was even more exciting early on in the season. It really kind of helped
Yep.
turn things around for him. I hope, Rachel, I hope that we get a New England Patriots versus Denver Broncos AFC
I
Championship
have
game
trauma from this.
in Denver because here's the thing, like that's why this game on Sunday against the Raiders is so big,
Yep.
is because by common opponent, like let's say the Broncos and the Patriots both win out, they finish with the same exact record. The Broncos would essentially be the number 1 seed because of who they've played and who they've beaten based on common opponent. Because the Raiders beat them in week 1, and if the Broncos beat the Raiders this week, they sweep the Raiders, win the season series, and by virtue hold that tiebreaker over New England. So but I look at it, I think that New England's got an easier schedule in these final 4 games for them than Denver does in these final 5 games. And that, I think, is where all the questions come in. But you know what? We'll have to wait. Take it one week at a time, as the players certainly are.
Totally. And I talked to a lot of guys in the locker room yesterday about that, right? I asked JFM, I was like, are guys talking about the fact that if you win on Sunday, you have the tiebreaker over? And he was like, yeah, totally, they are. Nick Bonito, he was asked about it and he was like, no, we don't really like pay attention to what other teams did. But then he like slid in the like, when we win on Sunday or something along those lines, like we'll have the tiebreaker over them. So I'm like, this is clearly being talked about. It's kind of a must win game without being a must win game, which I like that pressure, and honestly, I think the team does really well with that pressure.
Yeah, I'd agree. I mean, in games they faced pressure when they've had their back against the wall this season, they've responded to
Yeah.
that pressure. And Bo Nix, ironically enough, after Sunday's game against the Commanders, said that pressure is a privilege, and he says, I love being in those situations because not many people get to be there, and when you thrive in those situations, it builds more confidence for you.
Yep.
And even talking to JL Skinner yesterday, we were talking about the close games, and then he looked because his locker is like to the left of Bo Nix's. And he says, when you got that maniac over there as your quarterback, we're excited. Like we're not worried at all. Like we believe that we can do anything with him there. So I think when you hear Sean talk about on Wednesday, like how important like the details are to him, like how obsessed he is with the little details and how he hates losing more than he loves winning. And you hear how Bo Nix prepares, and they're both kind of very similar in how they prepare and look at things. This is a maniacal team, and you can actually see that with the identity of how this Broncos team plays.
I was cracking up. So yesterday we have Sean, right? We're all talking in the atrium over there. We have Sean talk. I kind of got what I needed from him. Someone's like, okay, I'll head in to go to the locker room. So I go in. I'm done in the locker room, you guys, and I walk back out, and Sean is still talking. And I was like, I looked at everybody out there, and I was like, what is going on? The fact that he's still going 25 minutes, which I do I love and I hate, just as like a little inside to everybody. One, you almost can get too much information, like information overload. And then you're like, well, crap, now all this information's today. I have to like dissect what's most important. So that can be kind of difficult sometimes because you want to be able to provide as much as you possibly can. So you get a little information overload, but also you do get Sean who will start to tell stories if he talks for too long. So it's kind of this like interesting balance. But they asked Bo Nix about Sean, essentially saying like he hates losing more than he loves winning. And you could just see Bo Nix trying to come up with some like sassy response back to the question too about that. And I just think he's such a funny QB. So when I hear a player say that maniac over there, I'm like, he's so witty and funny that I think the team is like caught on to all of that too.
You know what I think is a shame for us? That like players in the locker room ultimately look, they're the closest. They get to see Bo every day.
Yeah.
From what I know about Bo and how he is, those guys see a really, really like awesome, just maniacal version of Bo Nix. Whereas, like when I think he gives us some fun press conferences, and there's some sass to it sometimes. I don't think that we truly get to experience the full personality that is Bo Nix. And I
Absolutely.
wish he was in the locker room more when that happens, but I also understand Sean doesn't want his quarterback talking to the media or the media talking to his quarterback. I mean, I understand it. It's just kind of unfortunate for us that we don't get to see that. Like we get to see like Bodacious Nix on TikTok, that account where they get all of a sudden they have all these TikToks of Bo Nix doing all these dances. And it's like, why can't we see this version of Bo in the locker room? I just feel like it would be great to see that. We're not going to get that though.
No, we're not. The most I get is by following his wife on Instagram. But she did wrap all of her presents, and I need to applaud her because the
It's a
wrapping
damn good
paper at
rap
the
job.
Knicks have, it is looking real good. I think
I
it's always so
hate it.
funny to
I
watch
can't
that.
do it. I can't rap worth shit.
No, okay, so I hosted a party last Friday, and I did like a present wall. Okay, so I hung like a bunch of presents on the wall for like a picture backdrop. I can't wrap presents either. How do people get it to be like so crisp and so like pressed? Mine are like slightly puffing out on the side. Cannot do it.
Did so I don't know. Maybe somebody invented it. I don't know. I haven't seen it. Certainly, I would buy it if I knew about it. But there's got to be like some sort of device out there that wraps your presents perfectly for you. There's got like it's 2025. You're telling me we don't have that now? Because
True.
like for me, I don't know how much wrapping paper. I don't know where to cut, so I get the perfect length so it's not too short. And it's like, oh no, now I have to cut off a little rectangle just so I can make sure that I cover up the gift. I hate it. This is my least favorite time of the year, just for the wrapping concept. I love when the presents are all finished under the tree, the Christmas lights and all that. I love that. I just hate the process of how you get there.
I'm gonna help you out. Okay.
All right.
Dollar Tree bag section. They'll look gorgeous, and they have good stuff at the Dollar Tree.
Okay.
Wrapping your wife's gifts this year, you're gonna go to the Dollar Tree. You're gonna pick up some really pretty bags, not the like overly green Grinch like color. No, like neutral Christmas colors. You're gonna be a winner this week. Okay.
All right. All right. Hey, helping me
Trust me,
and all the listeners of the Orange Crush podcast out. Get, Rachel's holiday tips. I mean, you gotta at least make the TikTok video on that, like best tips. I guarantee it'll go viral.
I got you. I got you. I never have thought about this. It's so weird. Like, I know people watch my TikToks, right? Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I share so much of it. And I know, like, viewers watch it. I know coworkers. I've never thought about the fact that, like, I could pop up on any of the players' feeds. And I'm like, and they know what my morning routine looks like. I'm like, yeah, that's kind of weird. And I'm like, maybe I need to block those ones. You just don't want the people that you're talking to like know you too well either.
I don't know. I feel like that's good though. Like, for example, we get to see all the players as players, right? And if you get to know them, you get to know them as humans a little bit. I also feel like for them, they know we have a job in the media, but I also think if they got a little bit more perspective on like who we are, what our life looks like a little bit, it's like, like, okay, like there's common ground. Like there's so many things I feel like we can all probably relate to the players with. We're not professional athletes, but there's things maybe in life or interests that we have that we all certainly relate to, so to
Okay,
speak.
you know
So,
what? I need a Cody Roark morning vlog.
oh God, you don't have it's chaos. Here's the thing.
I need it. Let me see it.
It is. I'll give you a little bit of a peek behind the curtain.
Okay.
My dog wakes me up at 4:00 every morning because he just whines and wants to be out. And like I'll take him most of the time. I'll take him potty, and then I'm like, all right, I'm gonna try to get one more hour of sleep. All right, we went potty. Let's go back in your crate. I get 30 minutes of sleep. Then he's nonstop barking. I might have to set a camera up just so everyone can see it. And then it's like, all right, I got to get up out of bed, take the mouth tape off, take the little nose strip that helps me breathe at night off. And then I go make a cup of coffee. And then while I'm making the cup of coffee, my puppy's chewing on my toes. Then he's going and he's biting the Christmas tree. And it's just
This is
me
like
yelling at him, like, get out of there. Stop doing that. I mean, it would be complete chaos. And then my wife, she wakes up. I want coffee. Can you make me a cup of coffee? So I try to make her a cup of coffee. Then, before she's out the door, can you open my Stanley cup for me? Can you fill my water bottle up for me? And it's just like my life in the morning, Rachel, it is chaos. It is
this
chaos.
is why we need a vlog. This is hilarious.
I
I'm
mean, people
actually
got a
dying
glimpse of
over
it.
this.
She let the gas tank, run to empty, and I had to go almost
Go fill
risk
it up.
running out of gas in the winter, yesterday for it. So
Good husband, though. Okay, mine has also gone before Broncos game to make sure my gas was like full in my car. So we applaud you guys. We appreciate you very much.
thank you. I mean, it's just one of those moments. Like, she always keeps me on my toes, and
Yeah.
just like the Broncos, they keep us on our toes quite a bit. And I just, it's you never know what you're gonna get.
Okay, so that brings us to our sticky note, which if you guys did not know, we've been doing this for the past couple of weeks, where we give 3 or 4 topics depending, and then you guys comment down below. Cody and I will send, if we get them all correct, we'll send you guys a cup of coffee. Okay, so this week I want to get to RJ Harvey because we know that the Raiders are not very good at stopping the run, and RJ, I think we're going to see a big game for him. Over, under 75 and a half.
I'm gonna be bold. I'm gonna go over.
See, I'm kind of thinking that too.
I'm gonna go over.
Okay. So we're both going over.
Now, is this rushing yards or total yards? Like out of the
Rushing.
backfield as okay.
Rushing. Yeah. Because I know he'll be involved in the pass game a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay. What else you want to do?
Ooh. Okay.
What are we expecting out of the game? Could we do something on Crosby?
Yeah. We could. Yeah, for sure.
What did you think of the little push on Herbert?
It's just chippiness, and
Such a flop.
I like Herbert, but I would say, like, if Max was saying, like, you were yelling in my ear, it was almost like after a big play, he was kind of like yelling in his ear a little bit. And I was like, all right, that's just competitiveness. Remember, there was last year where he was like, speak up, Bo, they can't hear you. Like, and then the Broncos just score 30 unanswered points to just destroy them in Denver, which was nice. Hopefully that's the case here. I don't know. Do we do something on Max? It's tough because you just never know what you're going to get.
I only say that because we've seen multiple games now where Bo has gotten sacked. They've gone after him.
Maybe we could do a wild card, like a bingo. Like, okay, maybe Max Crosby over under 1 sack.
We make a bingo card to watch on the game on Sunday. It's a.
Could you imagine? We should do that. Honestly, we could create a bingo card, and whoever gets like a bingo, we send them coffee.
Great bingo.
I like that. We'll have to create a sheet. Maybe we do Bo Nix.
Okay.
In a sense, Bo Nix, 2 over under 2 touchdowns.
Okay.
I feel like that would be good. He's thrown for 600 something yards in the last 2 games, which is the most that he's had so far in a 2-game stretch in his career.
He led the NFL last week in passing yards.
I loved it. I know. I was like, and no one was talking about it either. It's crazy how that works.
Over under. I don't think that the Broncos are considered to be like the sexy team. I turned it on Monday morning. Turned on I've got YouTube TV, so it does like the quadruple box or whatever. Not a single person was talking about the Broncos. And I was like, we just watched a crazy overtime game and no one is talking about it? Wild.
That's okay. I mean, even the 2015 team, no one was talking about them. And everyone was saying, like, in the Super Bowl pregame, like, oh, yeah, there's going to be a blowout that's going to be worse than the Seahawks game. And then, I think Denver likes being the underdogs. They like being written off. So I'm okay with it. But, at some point, they're going to learn.
I like being the underdog, too. I don't want too many people, like, hyping you up. I don't want that noise to get into anybody's head. Like, so I'm there. Okay, over under for you, 2 touchdowns for Bo.
Over.
Defense, interception.
Ooh.
Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, I don't know what to put for this.
It's tough.
I know.
Dre got an interception last week. Jade had almost had one that got wiped off the board. I mean, I feel bad for him. He's had 2 interceptions this year, just completely wiped off due to a penalty.
I know. Okay, I'm gonna say no just to switch it up for you. So we've got RJ 75.5 rushing. We're both going over. Bo 2 touchdowns. We're both going over. defense, interception. You are saying yes. I am saying no. So
Okay.
for all of you, that means put it in the comments. If you get all of them correct on Sunday, we'll buy you a coffee. Cody, is there anything else though that you're looking at this game thinking, okay, we need to be prepared for this. This is what we think that the Raiders are going to do. They have two new coordinators, so it's a different team than we saw on Thursday night.
Yeah, I don't think that the Raiders necessarily look. Chip Kelly apparently was running some like rogue plays or something like that. I don't necessarily understand what that means, considering he was really in charge of the entire offense.
Yeah.
But I do think that you can't change much. Like if you're the Raiders, there's not much you can change this deep in the season in terms of like you can't just install a brand new scheme. So it is going to probably be a little bit more run heavy this week. I'm sure they're going to try to get Ashton Genty involved, but that offensive line, it is banged up in Vegas right now. It is different than that first unit that obviously the Broncos played. Some people in Vegas are calling it a patchwork offensive line at this point. So it should play well here for the Broncos in terms of stopping the run and getting after them. I know Genty had a couple of big runs against them on Thursday night, but Sean Payton did say initially after the game is that the Raiders played them a lot differently than they had necessarily prepared for. Like they didn't think that they were going to do certain things and kind of caught them off guard a little bit. So I feel like that is probably something we can look at.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And I don't understand the use of Genty. Like, there's a lot of things I don't understand
If
about
they
the
get
team,
a good
but
offensive line, he's gonna be a gem. But he's just
yes. But even
he's
early on in the season, I feel like they didn't really utilize him to, I feel like, the best of his ability, which only limits you guys, right? Like, that's why you take him so early on. It was so surprising to me.
yeah. And I think that's probably the problem of where the Raiders are at right now. From a personnel standpoint, it's hey, we got this really nice running back. It's like, but okay, let's look at it from this analogy. Let's say you buy a Ferrari, but you don't have any concrete roads. It's all dirt roads and sandy roads and rocky roads pretty much all around your terrain of where you live.
Yeah.
Like, what's the point of having that? Or it's like what's the image, the meme that pops up? It's like a Ferrari or a Lamborghini, and it's like inside like a trailer park, essentially. That's
Yeah.
that's what Ashton Genty is right now.
Don't put the miles on it, and I get it. Running back careers are already being cut short all the time. So I totally get that part. But even at the beginning of the year, I didn't feel like they utilized him truthfully. Do you think that Pete
Yeah.
Carroll will be one and done? There's a lot of talk right now about that. I would be very surprised because then you're paying two coaches already.
I mean,
Granted, you
think
got Tom
about it.
Brady money now, but
I think so. I think Pete came out of a situation, look, where I mean, essentially he was asked to step down from the Seahawks and go into like an advisory role. And that's what obviously happened. So he wanted to coach still. I just don't think that Pete, the Raiders are not in a position to compete anytime soon. I think they're 2 or 3 years off. They're gonna have to like build a foundation. They got a GM in place that obviously worked under John Elway, understands the approach there. Obviously, they got Mark Thews, who was obviously with Sean Payton, George Payton, the Broncos. They got him over there as an assistant. Like to me, it's going to take time. And so then you have an owner like Mark Davis, who's just are they on the same page with ownership and the GM and how they want to build this roster? They've got some pieces. Max Crosby could get traded this offseason, Rachel. They're going to enter a rebuild essentially here, and they're going to need capital. They're going to have to build the offensive line. They're going to have to find a quarterback. Them extending Geno Smith was malpractice, in my opinion. And Pete Carroll, at his ripe age of what, I think he's 74 or something along the lines.
want to sign yourself up for that.
Why? I don't think he'd be on board with doing a rebuild. So I do think he's going to be one and done.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, there's been so many conversations. But is that him stepping away or him getting fired?
Maybe they offer him to step away, saying, hey, like, we're going to go through a rebuild. If you want to be here part of it, we'd love to have you. But they all got to be on the same page. At times, it doesn't seem like the head coach and obviously the front office doesn't seem like they're on the same page with how they're running things or how they're doing things and roster building philosophy, so to speak. But I mean, that's just my perspective from the outside looking in. I'm curious, but I just don't see Pete being on board with the rebuild.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to either at that age too. Like, what's the point? Practice today though. I can't believe we haven't talked about this. DJ Jones. What are we expecting? Do we think we'll see him out there?
I'm hoping that we see him out there limited. You know, I think the snowy conditions made it to where we couldn't like guys. There's no side field inside the facility, and they're not going to have those guys out in the cold snow. So hopefully DJ returns today, and if he does, I imagine he'll probably be a limited participant if that's the case. But we're gonna have to wait and see. I don't know what to expect here.
Dealing with shoulder injury. We saw it happen during the game, and we were all kind of like, "Ooh, what's going on?" Shoulder. We have no other
Is
information.
it shoulder? Because on the injury report it said ankle.
Oh, I saw shoulder. Well, let's
Interesting.
the injury. We're gonna go off the injury report and not Twitter. I just saw shoulder. Um, Hold yesterday's. Okay.
I was say
Oh yeah,
it's
you're
nice
right.
that.
It says ankle. I heard shoulder. Interesting.
Yes, I don't know. It could be this, that, or the other. Nate Atkins, we didn't see him. But it's nice that we saw Jonah Ellis back. He was a full participant, which means that he should be ready to rock and roll
That will
for
be
Sunday's
good.
game. So it was nice to see a shorter list of injury report, but hopefully DJ's ready to go this week.
Yeah.
Hopefully he can go. I mean, he's so important to what they do defensively. So I think that's something we're going to have to see. But if your ankle's not 100% and, let's say he doesn't practice today, there's 2 missed days. Even if he were to return on Friday, I don't think that's enough for him to be ready to go. So we could see maybe some more Savion Jones or Jordan Jackson in the event that DJ's unable to go.
True. Well, we will see. We will be both back out there. You're going to practice?
Yep. I'll be there. And then, we get to hear from the coordinators. So it should be a interesting approach. I'm curious because like Joe Lombardi, I feel like he's limited on. He gives us. I feel like he gives us good information, but I also feel like there's times where it's like, oh, I don't know if Sean wanted him to say that.
100%.
Vance, I always think Vance gives us great insight. And there's a lot of reflection. There's a lot of just like, here's what we did wrong, and it's very much like this is what we need to do. I think we get a lot out of Vance, but as time goes on, I don't think Vance is going to take a head coaching job. I don't think that there's a place that's appealing. I don't even think New York is as appealing anymore right now. I think that they're going to want to probably get a guy that they can pair with Jackson Dart. If they really believe he's their quarterback, I don't see them going with a defensive coach.
No, and that's totally fair too. I would be so scared if I was VJ to take on another head coaching role. And this is just probably me, probably projecting. I have no clue about VJ. But after you had, an unsuccessful attempt at it, but you've been so successful as a coordinator, I just think it would be so hard to take that next step. But I also think that if you are in a Super Bowl window, which it feels like the Broncos are trending towards, why would you want to walk away from that either? It's so hard to win a ring already.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I would even say to me as well, I feel like Denver is more appealing as a D coordinator. I feel like that would be huge. Like as a D coordinator right now, what you have in Denver is better than I think any opportunity that's going to open up out there. But then again, head coaching jobs are limited. Once again, if you don't feel great about a place where you could potentially go be a head coach, there's no problem in waiting. Other jobs eventually will open up. So I think that's definitely something we should talk about real quick. Rachel, I have to give a shout out to obviously our good friend Ryan Blackburn. He hosts the Pick Action Roll podcast.
Love Ryan.
He will be doing a Nuggets pregame show and a postgame show from Peckish Pizza and Wings down there in DTC starting at 5 p.m. They got happy hour deals, giveaways, and more. So check out our friends over there at Peckish. Go hang out with our guy Ryan Blackburn as he talks about the Nuggets. Jamal Murray coming off a 52-point game as the Nuggets are trying to navigate some injuries.
On the injury report with an ankle injury, everybody. That's insane. Go Jamal. Ryan's also a fantastic.
A Murray flurry.
Oh my gosh, I know. This Colorado's insane right now between the Nuggets, the Avalanche, the Broncos. We're in a good place, everybody. I will never, ever complain. Cody, appreciate you as always. To all of our listeners, thank you for hanging with us every Tuesday and Thursday. We love doing this with you guys. And then we will see you hopefully on Monday or Tuesday for Broncos.
Yep. Hopefully 10 wins in a row is what we're talking about.
Oh my gosh, insane. All right, everybody. Have a wonderful Thursday. We'll talk to you later. Bye.